Hello aspirants and welcome again to Legacy IAS Academy's YouTube channel. Now if I put a question across you and ask you as to how many Indian scientists have won the Nobel Prize, so what do you think will be the number? Is it going to be 20, 10, 5 or is it just 1? Now remember, the question was how many Indians have won it, not the people of Indian origin. So as far as Indians are concerned, now it has been over 90 years, close to 100 years since the last time that an Indian won a Nobel Prize. So the last time an Indian won a Nobel Prize was Mr. C.V. Raman, after which there has not been a single Indian winning the Nobel Prize. And this is exactly what we will be discussing in this lecture as to why the Indian scientists are not winning the Nobel Prize. So the news is about exactly that. There is an article in the Indian Express as well, the Explained, which talks about that India has not produced a single Nobel laureate since 1930, in the year in which C.V. Raman won this prize. Now, if we would have been quite a small country with very small GDP, very small growth, high socioeconomic backwardness, maybe it would have been understandable. But if you look at India, India has a huge pool of scientists and researchers. Yes, we have one of the world's largest pools of scientists, but still we are not able to win the Nobel Prize, as a result of which there comes a question in front of us with respect to the structure that India has, with respect to the leadership or the culture or the scientific temper that India has, can now be questioned as to why we are not winning it. So in this video, we will be understanding the reasons behind it, and we will also see as to what we can do in the future so that more Indians, in fact Indians, because it's been 96 years that we have not won, so at least the first one comes in first, so then the floodgates can open. So let's get started. Before that, a quick announcement about the new batches that are going to start. As you all know, that the maximum size of the batch is just 40 students. The new batches are going to start in this month of November and December. Now, the advantages that you get once you enroll with Legacy IAS Academy, of course, are many, but some of them are mentioned over here. For example, the comprehensive coverage of the syllabus of the GS paper up to the micro level of coverage will be there. The most important from my perspective is probably the one-on-one mentorship that you will get here, which you will not get anywhere else to the level that we provide, along with doubt solving, regular interaction with the mentor, of course daily mains, answer writing practice and test series for both prelims as well as mains. Now we also have a 360-degree approach for current affairs, in which the entire week's current affairs are covered through the live classes. So the current affairs are covered through the live classes. So if you want to enroll with us, you can simply download our app, log on to the website, or call on these numbers. So now let's continue with the news. So what is the central question in front of us? The common assumption with respect to why Indians do not win the Nobel Prize is that we do not spend enough on research. So probably we don't spend enough, that is why we are not winning enough. But that is not necessarily the case. So what is the issue? We need to introspect the deeper issue that is there, and that is the leadership and institutional culture, or the institute's culture that is there. Proper leadership in the academia and the institutional culture in the field of academia is not present in India. Now India is land of potential opportunity, land of potential, but not a land of discovery. Very important sentence, potential, because see, we have a huge population. If something gets discovered, something gets researched, development, it gets produced, then the growth of that particular thing will have a very high potential in India, because the population is very high, but the discovery or the development of that thing is not happening in India. So there are some key facts which we can analyze. So if we look at the public R&D expenditure, public R&D expenditure is actually quite low. But still, why were we saying that the expenditure is low is not the main reason, because even then this percentage is of course low, but a lot of countries from where the researchers are earning, the amount spent there on research and development percentage wise would be higher, but as a quantum would be lesser. So that is one thing. Also, even if you are spending high, need not necessarily guarantee you success. There needs to be proper culture and leadership. So this is what our spend is, and the global average is 1.8%, whereas if you look at the OECD, it is 2.5%. In global average, there will be socio-economic backward countries as well, but if you look at majorly the developed countries under the OECD, it's 2.5%. India is spending nowhere close to that. If you look at scientists per million, we have 260 scientists per million. So the quantum or the total number would be high, but as a ratio, it is not that high because the global average is 1500 plus. Last Nobel Prize, already told you, 1930, C.V. Raman. Now, if you look at Japan, there have been 29 Nobel Prizes since 1949. That means every other year or after every couple of years, someone is winning it. If you look at the innovation index, we are ranked 40 up from 81. So previously we were 81, now we are ranked 40. So this is good, but still it is not resulting in Nobel Prizes. Now, the structural issues are also present. For example, opaque hiring practices. The academicians that are there, they are hired in a very opaque manner. That means there is no transparency in their hiring. There is a leadership crisis. There is inadequate, improper leadership. Misaligned incentive structure is also there. So the research and development scholars are not getting enough incentive in order to incentivize them and or attract the people into this domain. Plus, there are certain systematic challenges post the recruitment of these academicians. First, the recruitment itself was opaque. Now, after recruitment, there will be resource constraints. They will not find proper resources, proper monetary benefits or what? Monetary incentives or monetary support to carry out their research and development will not be there. Then there will be bureaucratic delays which will hamper the research which they are doing, and of course internal politics, and which will, all of these things will combine together to lead to the loss of motivation among such scholars. Right. Now, if you look at the different countries and their key strength and culture, so if you look at USA, their strength is peer review and competitive funding which is provided. If you look at Israel, there is high R&D investment up to 5% of GDP. For Japan, it is university industry linkage. There is a collaboration between the two which helps them. In India, there is an expanding research base. The number of patents that are getting filed is now higher. However, it is not resulting in practical success. If you look at USA, they have academic autonomy and risk-taking. Autonomy is given, freedom is given. In Israel, startup and innovation ecosystem is very good. So the startups will need more innovation. They will also put funding to attract the innovation. In Japan, long-term vision and trust in science is there. In India, there is centralized control and weak autonomy. Very less freedom is given. So the universities and academicians are sort of controlled. So the consequences of academic stagnation, because of this, what happens is brain drain, low innovation, and the reputation gap, as well as innovation dependency. Innovation dependency means India will be dependent on the rest of the world for the innovations. Now, what can be the solution over here? The solution can be to encourage the young scientists to become the leaders of the present and the future. Bring in energy, global exposure, and reformist mindset. Reserve more than or equal to 50% of leadership positions for next generation scientists. It's what being said in that article. If you mention this point in the answer of mains, use qualifying terms. For example, reservation of leadership position for next generation scientists can be thought of. There is no need to give exact percentage as such which the article mentions. Right. So the way forward can be You saw that the hiring was opaque, so that needs to be transparent. We need to redefine the success. Success should not mean that in how many magazines your research have been published. It should be viewed with respect to the impact that particular research is having. Empower the institutes, give them more freedom to take their own decisions, and encourage industry academia collaboration so that both can, sort of synergize each other for further research and development. Thank you.